Yeah, you're running into there with that codependent with the mother, mainly with sons, the Oedipal mother, which is a Freud term, and we saw it a lot dealing with addicts, whose mums would bring them in, and a lot of the time it happened when there was a split early on with the husband and wife, and he wasn't in the picture anymore, and then the son starts to somewhat fill the role of the husband. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and so this gets really interesting because then ends up they grow up to an age and they could be mid 20s or even in their 30s, still at home, mum's still doing all the washing, cooking, and all that kind of jazz, giving them money when they need it. Meanwhile, they're not working; they're doing drugs, and it's just massively codependent. And then the mother will come in and say, "Well, he just needs to change, change, change." And I'm like, why the fuck would he change? Like, he gets to sit at home, do drugs, gets money for nothing, doesn't have to work, gets his washing done, gets his food made. What? That's a great deal. Why would he leave? And then when if the son there's this episode of South Park, right? Of all things, when we're talking about deep dynamics between mother and father, I bring up a South Park episode, but it illustrates this beautifully. It's an episode where the dog whisperer, Caesar Milan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So it's one where Cartman's mum, so obviously Cartman and his mum, Cartman's just a shit of a kid and yelling at his mum all the time, blah, blah, blah. And she just can't handle it anymore. So she brings in Caesar Milan to train Cartman. And so he comes in and, whenever Cartman arcs up, he goes "Tss," and like kicks him in the side and everything. And over time, he actually changes Cartman's behaviour, like he would on an episode of Dog Whisperer. And so next thing, Cartman's doing his homework. He's dressed nice. He's like, "Oh, mother, would you like something for dinner?" and all that. And there's this really beautiful moment where the mum, I think Caesar's, first of all, the mum's trying to crack on to Caesar Milan the whole time he's there trying to train, right? Because the dad's not there, so there's that dynamic missing. He just doesn't want a bar of it. Anyway, he leaves. And then she goes around, she's looking around the house to clean up stuff. And then she's like, "Oh, honey, did you want to, some of that ice cream or whatever?" He goes, "No, I don't want ice cream. I would just want to eat better," and all that kind of jazz. And she's trying to find something that he's done wrong. And she ends up encouraging him to go back to his old ways. Because all of a sudden now she's completely lost that codependent relationship. Someone's become independent, even when it's the son. And a lot of women say they want their son or daughter, whoever, to be independent, but when it happens, they really struggle with it. Because like you said, that dynamic changes from dependency one way to dependency the other way.